right, Benny, this is right in your wheelhouse, except for the age bracket. Just wanted to mention this summer, the NFL will be introducing a new elevated championship tournament format to celebrate the best of the best across the youth flag football world, domestically and globally. Okay. The NFL Flag Championships will be a first of its kind, hosted by the NFL, ESPN, RC Exports, and Omaha. Will take place in Canton, Ohio, at the Pro Football Hall of Fame on July 19th to the 21st, and will feature the very best of girls and boys youth flag talent. So they're really ramping it up here, especially with the international piece to this, man. I mean, what do you think about this?
Well, first of all, it's kids, which is great in itself. I've also noticed every year we get a more and more push about girls flag football. I believe the last report I heard here wasn't that long ago, is that they're really pushing hard for high schools to go ahead and sanction flag football for girls. And also D1 colleges are being, they're trying to coax them into actually putting together flag football teams for girls. So I think that's tremendous. Now, the only thing about this youth thing is somewhere between now and when is that, July?
Yeah.
We're gonna need to hear what style are we playing, and what are the age groups.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, flag is absolutely blowing up, and the NFL is doing a great job of blowing it up. So, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen, this being picked up. I mean, much less the fact that I do believe it's coming up as a Olympic sport.
Absolutely, the team's already been selected.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Last words about Vontae Davis. Rest in peace.
But did they figure out what happened to Vontae Davis?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay, so we have to look out for a report on that, because I believe he was found deceased in his home, but they weren't 100% sure exactly what happened to him.
You want to
He was
mention
only like
Rashee Rice?
38. Rashee Rice was in a hit and run car accident that was pretty bad, and he left the scene. I was getting ready to say he fled the scene, but I'm going to say he left the scene. I saw a report today where he has now turned himself in to the authorities, and he's doing whatever they ask him to do. But the extent of the accident, I would assume, and I hate to assume, but I would assume if there was a fatality or something, that we would have heard that already. But the bottom line is, he was in a car accident. He left the scene. He was being looked for like a week or two, and they couldn't find him. That makes it worse, if you ask me. Yeah, right, exactly. Now he's resurfaced, turned himself in, and we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that.
And they literally had video of him and people walking down the highway away from the accident. So
Sure. Yeah.
it's nothing like
There's
being
cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know why these guys even bother. Like,
And it was a leased Lamborghini, so you got the most attention-grabbing car you can have. And yeah, they were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, but okay, we'll let that go. Then to wrap up, I just want to mention our favorite morning football show had their last show in New York. And I like the twins here working together. They're pretty good. They really fill in well, and they butt heads just enough, as brothers or whatever should do. But now, man, let me tell you, it's hard to see any good info or good stuff on the NFL channel, man. You got to wait for like one of the one of the flagship shows to come on in the evening because
Yeah,
all
you got to wait for the afternoon shows.
yeah, they're showing you reruns of the combine and pro days and
Yeah.
old football games, and I love
And
old
the
football.
crazy thing is, on top of that, they were already getting beat during the day by FS1, if you ask me. So McAfee's on ESPN, Cowherd, First Things First, and Speak, they're all on FS1. So there wasn't a whole heck of a lot going on the network during the day anyway.
I was one of those people that would watch Craig Carton because I knew that they would be running the morning show till like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I could watch
Right.
him and come
So
back and
you can
watch
watch
that.
that later.
Yeah,
Right,
watch
right.
that. But I
Plus,
used
Carton's funny.
to.
That guy's an idiot.
Yeah. He's him, and it's funny, him and Get Up, the guy on Get Up are both Jets fans. Like long suffering.
Oh, yeah. Greeny.
Yeah, Greeny, like
They're
big,
longtime Jets fans.
yeah, long time Jets fans, man. So um Craig is like so hyped about the possibilities, you know.
Well, he's from New York. How he became a Jets fan instead of a Giants fan, I don't know. Greeny, I'm not sure where he's from, but for whatever reason, yes, he is a Jets fan. He's not ashamed to say it, and they're waiting for their time.
I'm just surprised that they couldn't have any other live commentary type football shows temporarily in that gap, I mean, they have so many personalities and people that they could, that could fill in or, whatever. So, yeah.
Maybe they don't feel like they have anybody that can really compete. Those shows in the afternoon are all pretty good shows,
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much watch them.
and they're established. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
they'll put something together.
All right, Benny. You know what this means. All right, here we go. Before we go, what do you think? How's he looking, Steelers, black and gold?
So let's talk about this for a second, okay? Since you brought it up, I saw it on the page, but I didn't know if you were going to bring it up or not. So Russell Wilson supposedly has been told that he will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've named their starter already before camp starts, before the draft, whatever. Russell Wilson is our starting quarterback, and Justin Fields will be backing him up. Now, once camp starts, if Russell Wilson, this is me talking now, if Russell Wilson has any hiccups, if he has any problems in preseason, trust me, his leash is going to be real short. They didn't take Justin Fields for nothing, although they basically got him for nothing. There's a reason why they brought him over there, and the price definitely was right. They fleeced the Bears.
They're trying to compete with my Niners on cheap quarterbacks, man. But
They
they got
fleeced the
way
Bears.
higher level quarterbacks with the money.
They fleeced the Bears, man. Trust me, they did. And I haven't heard any more about the story about other teams calling and inquiring about picking him up in a trade, and they allowed him to veto those. It all comes under the guise of we want to do what's best for Justin.
They
Okay.
kept
So
saying
if
it.
that was
They
yeah,
kept
if
saying
that
it.
was true, and he vetoed a couple of other potential trades where they could have gotten more for him, that's all nice that they try to do what's best for Justin. Personally, I think organizationally it's stupid. Okay. But it's a done deal, man. This kid, I believe, is the Pittsburgh Steelers' future quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind, and that future may begin this season. Russell Wilson's got a lot of pressure on him. He's going to have to really, really perform here, or he's going to have to try to get another 1-year deal somewhere else with some desperate team, or else be out of football. I'm telling you, because he ain't going to be no backup. He makes too much.
Well, you're saying you're talking about through preseason that Russell might get replaced. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's a possibility, but I don't care if it's game 6. Okay. If he has 1 or 2 bad games, he's out of there.
I've heard
Tomlin's not going to baby him.
I've heard the same thing, or something similar. I think, different game, game 8 or whatever, they're saying, then they expect Justin to be in there at that point. So that's interesting. For some reason, I'm thinking they're going to give Russell this year. They're going to give it to him, and whatever it is, it's going to be. And if he don't get hurt, he's going to be in there playing, you know. So
Okay, this is a team that hasn't had a losing season under Mike Tomlin.
I
They're
understand.
not going to give him this year. If
Okay.
he's playing bad and they're not willing, or if he's not playing terrible, but not playing well enough to help them win games, if the offense isn't cooking like they expect it to cook, where he's putting up points and they're winning games, he's out of there. That's why they only signed him to 1 year. They don't have there's no
I know that's
loyalty
what I'm
to him.
saying. They don't have. Now the thing is, I guess part of it is in my mind, I don't expect him to have a bad year. I kind of expect Russell
Okay.
to have a nice year this year.
And that could happen too.
So, maybe that's where where my sentiment is more coming from. All right, good enough.
Yeah.
But the man looks happy. He looks like he's ready to be a Steeler. And
Looks like he's ready to steal a job. That's what it looks like.
Well, he might wind up doing that. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, Benny. It's this time when we say thanks for following. Please leave comments and suggestions. Our hashtag is football is life. And then I ask the question, do you have any final comments?
Not football comments, but Joel Embiid is back. Sixers, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to make a quick
Oh,
comment.
Lady Gamecocks too.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Final Four.
rooting for Dawn. They've already. Well, I won't get into the girls' basketball thing. I'm gonna leave that alone. What I did want to say is that I had made some comments and I've had some concerns relative to Vic Fangio. Remember me mentioning Vic Fangio?
Okay.
So
Let's hear this.
I went back just to kind of take a look, at the Fangio's record and kind of see where I was kind of getting some of that information or why I was getting that feeling. But it kind of starts, I think, from when he was the Denver Broncos head coach in 2020. He had a pretty stellar record in many cases. And one of the things I liked about his record is that he had a number of defenses that were either one or in the really high, like top 10 in terms of defensive scoring. And that's that's how I do it with Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. It's defensive points allowed per game, and he did pretty good in that range. However, as a head coach, he was 19-30 in his 3 years there as a head coach. And then he was kind of supposed to go to the Eagles as a consultant, but he jumped to the Dolphins,
Right.
and then wound up coming right back to the Eagles. And I had heard some things, about the Dolphin coaches, about the players, and you had talked about how players are, today versus what they are. But it seems, things got weird for him in the COVID time. He was the coach that that showed up at the meetings with all of his quarterbacks, no mask on, right in the middle of COVID, and like just broke all the rules. And then they wound up having that game where they had to have undrafted wide receiver Kendall Hinton play quarterback
Because everybody was sick.
because everybody was well, they weren't sick, but they were quarantined because
Oh,
they
because they were exposed. Right,
right,
right, right, right.
right,
I remember
right.
that.
So, so yeah, so it got weird for him after that, and so then he had a really bad season, and and even when he was with the Eagles during the 2022 year, uh, that's when they gave up all of those points to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not like they went in and shut the Chiefs down. So it's gonna be interesting to see, how he gels, how the vibe is with Vic Fangio and the Eagles. And my first thought was that, he's one of those, this is one of those hires where it's the old boys network. That's kind of my
Right.
first thought here. But I might,
Yeah.
you like that? You believe?
Well, he's you'll always hear him mentioned along with the phrase well respected. Okay. He's a well respected defensive coordinator, been around for a long time. Sometimes that doesn't always mean he's really, really good, although they kind of put it out there like, wow, this is the guy you want. Okay. But this dude's been around, man. Panthers, Colts, Texans, Ravens, 49ers for
Yeah,
3 years,
he was a
the
Niner.
Bears, the Broncos, then
Yeah.
consulting with the Eagles, then the Dolphins, and then back to the Eagles. So, and there's more before that
Oh, yeah.
in college.
It's like a
Now,
40-some year career.
right. But the one thing I can say is some dudes are not built to be head coaches. He's one of them. Okay. As a defensive coordinator, I'll give him his props. Like I said, he's been around. If you went back to the years he was coordinator for some of those teams that I mentioned and looked at their defensive rankings, I'm sure you would find that several of them were pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I had to give
Okay.
it.
So in that respect, I have no problem. But as a head coach, yeah, he bombed. He was not good.
My question is he now a crotchety old man? Is he gonna get in there?
There's a good chance that he is. And I'm sure he had a hand in Hassan Reddick getting traded.
That's what I'm hearing. This is what
Yeah.
I'm, and then,
Now
that's not a fan.
Reddick didn't help himself. Reddick didn't help himself
That
though.
might be true, but that's not a fan favorite decision already.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. The fans love Reddick. And I tried to calm a guy down at the gym. I'm like, dude, first of all, he demanded 25 million. I said, TJ Watt makes 21.
He demanded 25 million.
He wanted 25 million. They said he wouldn't budge. This is a guy who can't stop the run and can't cover anybody. He's a pass rusher, period. So if you're a pass rusher, period, I think what he had 10 sacks a couple years in a row.
Right.
If you're a pass rusher, period, and you want 25 mil, I need 15 sacks a couple years in a row.
Okay.
If
Okay.
that's all you can do.
Okay.
So I don't blame the Eagles for letting him go in that respect. Plus, there was some talk that Fangio claimed he didn't fit in what he came here to do.
Well,
So if that's
that's
the case,
what I'm hearing also. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing also. So, but that's going to be an interesting dynamic because just 3 straight years, 3 straight off defensive coordinators, I guess, and
yeah,
offensive coordinators. So they're changing coordinators like every year. So we shall see what's going on with that. But yeah, I wanted to at least give him the benefit of the doubt, when I looked at his information. And I had said some things that I really questioned him. Still question him to be quite honest with you, but at least I have some positives to add to that question for him. All right,
mm-hmm.
Benny. That's it for me.
All right,
Congratulations on Embiid coming back. Good luck in the Eastern Conference. Hopefully you can get by
yeah.
those Knicks, those Bucks, those
I ain't
Cavaliers.
worried about the Bucks.
You ain't worried about the Bucks?
No, they got Doc Rivers. He'll mess it up. He'll mess. I'm sorry, Glenn Rivers. I
Stop.
can't even call him Doc. That's Glenn
Stop.
Rivers.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. All
Come
right.
on, man.
Have a good one.
Later.